It's a crystalline late February night in the Ocean State, and we're coming at you live a mile east of downtown Providence on historic College Hill. The Brown Bears and Dartmouth Big Green get ready for a rematch of a 2-point Bears win just a few weeks ago up in Hanover. Welcome inside the Pizzatola Center alongside ABC6 Sports Director Nick Coit. I'm Adam Giardino. Both of these teams find themselves below the cut line as they make their move towards the Ivy League tournament. There are just 2 weeks after this left in the regular season, and a win for either team would go a long way at sorting things out and getting themselves in the right position.
Yeah, Adam, the victory for Brown over Harvard really placed them firmly in the mix, and a weekend sweep would put them at 500 in the standings, so 5-5 2 weekends ago. That's pretty good for the Bears. For Dartmouth, tough loss to Yale on Friday night, so obviously if they want to stay in the Ivy League mix, they're going to have to get a victory against the Bears.
And for Dartmouth, it really goes as far as Chris Knight. He's their go-to offensive performer.
Yeah, Chris Knight, the go-to guy, the leading offensive player for the Big Green, averaging 15.8 points per game, and had a pretty good game the first time these two teams met a couple of weeks ago. So the Bears will have to try to slow him down. The Big Green will try to rely on Chris Knight to get them going and try to earn themselves a victory here at the Pits.
If you want to talk about a guy that a team can lean on, how about last night's performance from Desmond Cambridge in a win over Harvard?
Yeah, really, it was a bounce-back effort for Desmond Cambridge. He admitted to us after the Harvard game he had been in a slump a little bit, but 30 points against the Crimson. He got the crowd going at the Pizzatola Center, found that shooting stroke once again, and when Desmond Cambridge is shooting like that, the Bears have a great chance at a victory.
But it's time to take a look at the starting lineups now as we saw what Desmond Cambridge was capable of last night. You better believe that he's back in the starting lineup for the Brown Bears. They just had their starting five announced here at the Pizzatola Center. And first we'll look at Dartmouth's starting five. And as much as we highlighted Chris Knight, it's really the guard play that can take over for Dartmouth.
Yeah, and you look at James Foy and you look at Brendan Barry, and although it was in a loss, good performances against Yale, good from the field too. 15 points for Foy, 12 points for Barry, 5 of 10 shooting from the field, 6 of 12, so shooting about 50%, and really good at the free throw line too. So those guys will contribute offensively. And
here's the starting five for Brown. If there's one guy that Dartmouth isn't going to forget the name of, it's big number 20, Zach Hunsaker, a nightmare for Dartmouth a year ago.
Yeah, and he had that big shot that pushed Brown over the top. Obviously a memorable moment last season at the Pizzatola Center, and so Hunsaker will try to provide some more moments like that.
Leading the Dartmouth Big Green in his third season, David McLaughlin, 28th head coach in Dartmouth program history. He had spent the previous 3 seasons at Northeastern as the associate head coach under Bill Cohen. And on the bench for the Brown Bears, 7th year for Mike Martin. He's trying to lead his team to the promised land. And at this point, after beating Harvard for the first time in his coaching career, it's a good first step. Last night, a thriller for the Brown Bears. This one's tipped. It's won by the Bears in the hands of Hunsaker. And we are underway. Brown looking to build off of their win yesterday. They're a game back of Cornell with 5 games left. Cornell beat Brown already this year. There'll be a return meeting between those two here in Providence. Well, Brown will try to exact some revenge. A turnover out of the hands of DeWolf. Countering effort for Barry, far wing, in the hands of one of the many sharpshooters. Here's one of them. Foy misses. Cho with the rebound. Tamanig Cho, averaging 9 boards a game, gets into the score column early with that one. Tamanig Cho at the elbow. Defers back to Obi Akoli. Lob entry pass down low to DeWolf, and it's erased by Chris Knight.
Oh, Chris Knight comes flying in there. The size of Chris Knight already making a difference on the defensive end. We talk about how good he is offensively, but great defensive play there by Knight.
Knight listed at 6'7", going up against the 6'9" DeWolf. Watching them run up and down the court next to one another. I'd almost give Knight the height advantage, even though on paper, DeWolf's got him by couple of inches.
Yeah, really 6'9". It's not a ton, but Knight, great block there, comes flying in and anticipated the pass. Really, Brown's been trying to work the ball down low to DeWolf, especially early in games and late in games too. Of course, he had that big layup in the final minutes against Harvard on Friday night.
Barry dribbling around near mid-court, under 5 on the shot clock. Knight with the clock winding down, gets the 2.
Boy, that's a huge start for Knight, too. He was just 2 of 12 from the field against Yale, just 4 points. Tough effort against Yale, but obviously when you see the ball go in the basket, especially this early, it's a good night and a good start.
Dominic Cho with a great fake handoff, dribble through, and dribbled it off of his leg out of bounds.
It's crafty. He's used that move before, but sometimes when you get crafty, there's a risk of that happening and another turnover for Brown.
The defense assuming that is going to be a handoff, and a great reach in by Wes Slackert.
Slackert right there. You didn't catch it, I guess, first look, but on the replay, gets his hand in there, and that forced that turnover.
6'5" freshman from Oak Park, California. Dartmouth with the early 2-0 lead. Dartmouth, they love to shoot threes. They're not only high volume three-point shooters, but they make a ton of them at a good percentage. Turnover with 6 on the shot clock into the hands of Cho. Cambridge now over to Okoli, a 3.
Boy, senior season for Obi Okoli, and as Ivy League play started, his offensive game really picked up. Double-digit scoring, and now the last 11 for the Bears. And a good start again. A 3 there puts Brown on the board.
And over those 11, it's over 15 a game. So he's not hovering around 10, 11 points per game. He's getting some substantial performances for Brown.
And that was huge, too, when Desmond Cambridge was going through his slump and obviously needed somebody else to contribute offensively.
Bit of a desperation heave from Wes Slackert, and he buries along too. Couple of minutes in. Thanks for making us part of your Saturday evening. Alongside Nick Coit, Adam Giardino with you. We're live in Providence. Dartmouth is called for a hold away from the play. Hunsaker dribbles the basketball. He was the hero for Brown, the villain for Dartmouth at the Pizzatola Center last year with a buzzer-beating shot for a tremendous win where the student section flooded the court. Ended up being the number 3 play on SportsCenter's top 10 that night. Good driving effort, deflected out into the hands of Wes Slackert now. Corner 3, Aaron Rye, no. Snatched out of midair by Dominic Cho.
Been a good couple of defensive possessions for Brown. Just haven't been able to slip there by DeWolf. But really, yeah, a couple of good defensive possessions. Slackert hit that 3, but that time for Brown on the defensive end, forcing up another 3. It was a long 3, probably not the best of shots for the Big Green, and Bears get the ball back. Obviously another turnover, though, and that's been a problem early on these first few minutes.
Good idea for Brown to enter it down to DeWolf with the 6'4" James Foy guarding Brown's center, but even with the mismatch, didn't get it in the correct position and then slipped on top of it. Here's Knight dribbling from outside the arc, on-ball defense from David Mitchell. Dartmouth's been using a very plodding pace of play here early, every time taking it under 10 on the shot clock. A floater through the lane short from Slackert. And just another rebound from Dominic Cho. He's been busy early. Obi Okoli has it knocked away from him. Desmond Cambridge, that's a quick trigger 3, rims out.
He's got a lot of confidence in that shot again, Adam, and that one in and out. He'll keep shooting.
No one for Brown ever doubts that. Out of bounds by Chris Knight. And with a rather low-scoring affair upon us, we will step aside. 4-3 Dartmouth. They've got the early one-point cushion over Brown.
Athletics is happy to host a number of veterans and first responders in tonight's game as part of our Salute to Service initiative. At this time, we invite veterans and first responders in attendance